Wow. Where's this coming from?
Right in there.
This owl thing,
Oh, boy.
it'll move.
How the heck?
I know.
All right, I guess we'll, call this, can we call it to order yet? Are we
Yeah,
on?
we're good.
We're on? All right, let's call the meeting to order. It's 2:04. I'll just go through the introductions. Emma Dignati, she's, the hearing officer for today. Keith Miro, an inspector. I am in charge of the Blight Department. My name is Steve Bruschi, Keith Miro, Matt Deering, Matthew. He's also the Blight inspector.
All right.
Okay, so he's gonna run the computer while we tend to all this. So you have 3 properties you're here for. Okay, so we'll take them one at a time. I don't care which way we go. I guess we'll take, I got it right in front of me, it's 13 Bayview. All right, so
Should we do the oath, Steve?
What's that?
The oath?
oh, yeah.
So you're both the property owners, right?
Correct.
Okay, I'm gonna start with you. I just have very,
Name so you can swear to acknowledge.
I'll start both of you in just in case
Okay.
you both give testimony. We'll start with you. Can you just raise your right hand, please? Whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God, or upon penalty of perjury.
Yes.
Okay, great.
Okay, also, this is not a public hearing, this is a informal hearing that's open to the public to watch. Any inquiries about today or any other blight issue should be referred to the Blight Department. Any one of us can answer your questions. So if anybody's on Zoom and they want to ask questions about what's happening today, they can always give our office a call. We're always around and we can assist you that way. They're here for 3 properties. Okay, so we'll take them one at a time. We'll do 13 Bayview. 13 Bayview. History on 13 Bayview. There are currently no liens and no signed assessments on this property. Brief history, originally opened in 2023, was remedied, but the bulk of the blight still exists. Last hearing results
properties. I said, let's do it right. Let's just combine it. Nobody can have those. And let me, once we know what we have, then we can plan how to move the house according, exactly. In the meantime, what do you call it? The setbacks changed, I think, back in March. So I started with the plans. It took me like 3 or 4 months going back and forth to Mr.
No.
No, it's a, no, it's that you designed the map.
Architect.
Oh, architect and surveyor.
Surveyor.
Yeah.
Surveyor, I forgot the name
You
of it.
couldn't find a map.
No,
An older gentleman.
it's a
Walter's kid.
Walter's kid. It took him a long time. I brought the plans several times to Mr. Hidaki. He's like, oh, you need proper.
So that's here.
No, he needs on a map, another labeling, this. Went back and forth several times just to get the maps.
And then the
Took
map.
us like 4 months. Because Mr. What's his name?
Walter's kid.
Skid, had a lot of, it just doesn't happen right away. I left him the maps, ask and write a petition of, joining these couple, additional lots to make it buildable and what we can do with it. I started contacting Mr. Allen Law over a year ago. And since then, the communication goes. Mr. Allen Law was, at some point,
Medical leave and stuff.
yes, he was like, once he was like not available, then, yeah, he was sick and at that time he sent me an email, but nobody who was substituting for him, nobody could do that
Oh,
part because
he's
he
the
is
only
the
one.
only one who does it.
Interject, as far as couple small lots, they're not huge lots. Basically, the 20 Cleveland Terrace is like irregular in shape, awkwardly done, so you cannot really build anything. So there are two tiny like triangle shaped areas that are next to Martin Luther King Drive, and they're sloping down like 30 feet. So they're unusable. Nobody has access to it. Only we do. They're owned by the city, but what happens is neighbors throw garbage in there. We always clean it, take care of it, so it looks presentable. But there was so much mattresses, garbage, and we always clean
Yeah,
it
we put
because
the
it's.
fence up to
We
make sure
put the
that
fence up, so nobody
nobody-
would throw stuff in there, but people still do it over the fence, so we take care of it, and we figured if we could, we're happy to pay taxes for those little. Triangle shaped areas, which don't serve city at all, but this way we could build something, decent on the
So
lot.
you
that
guys
is
are
gonna-
talking about 20 Cleveland.
20 feet.
Yeah, just the
So,
background, yeah.
Because, okay, and then, so I said, let's start with the biggest, with the property that is the biggest eyesore. So when I started doing that, it takes time. So in the meantime, we have not done anything because I don't want to stretch myself and start with one thing and not be
You
able to
have to do
finish it.
something.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Blighted
So
properties.
last year, regarding the 13 Bayview, I did a lot of cleaning. I did the back wall, which we paid over 10,000, maybe $14,000. It was like a retention wall of the back neighbor because his stuff was also overgrown and he has a like falling fence. So I even told him that I can fix his fence, but I
Cleaned up the
Cleaned up,
property,
cleaned up the property.
landscape
Shape,
comes there
landscape, yes.
every week, and happy comes there to mow it.
So practically, we just maintaining that to make sure that it's presentable.
And also the steps, they were power washed and
Yes.
cleaned because there was
Yes.
some
So
peeling.
whatever you asked last year, it was addressed, and from that point, I wanted to
Well,
make
has it
sure
been
that it's like
addressed?
clean and.
No, the roof.
The roof we did not, that's
That's
the
the
one
only
thing,
one.
because to do the roof, there is this property has 2 staircases. One which is from the front, it's nice and comfortable. The second one on the back, it's very steep and narrow, okay? So I thought, once I'm gonna do something and make the roof and do everything, I should make that staircase usable. And I thought that would, the back of the
Dormer or
property,
something.
it will kind of affect the roof and the shape. So for that, I also need an architect to,
Draw it up and show the
Exactly.
dormer so that the staircase would work.
and, so I just don't wanna rip the roof and put a new roof, because that could be done. But that's not gonna resolve the issue that has the house like inside.
I don't care about the inside.
I understand.
We care about the outside and the outside only.
I understand. So, see, that's the thing, just putting, to make it look, fascia and stuff like this and presentable. If you wanna do it, I would rather do it right. Not spending time
But you're not.
Okay,
doing
let-
any-
okay.
The thing,
And then-
So let me-
any,
okay.
none of the house, there's nothing being done on any of them. And I understand your situation with Mr. Lowe. I spoke with him this morning. He has no problem, with the transfer of property.
Okay,
However, it's not a priority for him. So
okay,
one department is not gonna hold up another
Okay.
department.
Right,
yeah,
You know what I mean? So
Okay.
if you have to put pressure on him or with somebody else in the city, then you have to do that.
well, I mean, we don't want to be rude, I understand he was on medical leave and he's, I believe,
I know, it's
Yeah.
been over a year since I've been in touch with him and
and
talking,
we have
so
communication.
hopefully I'm
back and
gonna,
forth.
send him another letter. Recently, just maybe, just like 3 weeks ago, he told me, because at one point, Mr. Hidaki told me, Ms. Chaya, maybe you should take those plans that you left it here, because we don't wanna lose them. There's not much happening with Mr. Law. I said, okay, fine. I said, when we're ready, then you bring them back. So now, just recently, about a week.
2 weeks ago, we brought it, you were here, we met with you briefly,
Yes.
we brought them back, so
He
that
asked,
Mr. Lowe. could see
Mr.
it.
Law sent me a email asking to bring those maps back and a letter of, just like,
Petition
To-
to join,
to
when
join
we
those.
did that, we gave you a
Yes.
copy as well, right, and he has a copy of it, so.
So hopefully he's gonna do it, because
If he said this morning to you that he has no problem transferring that, that's great news. We love that. That's great. If we can proceed with that, if you have good communication with Mr. Law, if we could get this done, that's wonderful, and we'll start on it 20 Cleveland right away.
So you're hold up on the other two.
So-
Yeah.
I just heard one person mention that they had trouble audio on the web, so.
It had turned off, we turned it back on, yeah.
Thank you. I got
Yep.
And as far as, because I know you started with 13 Bayview. As far as 13 Bayview, maybe let's just put new asphalt shingles on it, make it presentable. And meanwhile, if we have to rip part of the roof in the back later to change the staircase, we'll do that. I mean, you okay with that? Just to
I
make
don't know.
the
I
city
just-
okay and.
No, the thing is, because you're talking about like 20,000-30,000 of dollars, putting stuff and then, changing everything. This is not, what I was thinking, if we're gonna start doing and taking down the 20 Cleveland Terrace, right? Because we wanted to,
Pull that up.
Oh, no, pull up,
but first we wanna join the lots, make sure that it's, that
Good.
we are ready.
the front
that-
parts of this house. So this is the front of the house, right?
Yeah, this is,
That's the side.
you can lower it.
So you're talking about the back of the house that has a steep,
Back of the house, yes.
so. Would be. See, the thing with the back of the house, nobody sees that.
Nobody
Mhm.
says, okay, so you just want the front of the house addressed.
So if you're gonna put a roof on anyway. And you're skeptical about doing the back of the house,
Mhm.
okay? Basically what you can see from the road
Okay,
is what we're gonna blight. We're not gonna go on the property. we're not
you're
gonna-
gonna see from coming up from
So,
the other side, you're gonna see the whole roof,
Mhm.
including like the
Question.
top.
Back?
Because it goes like this and you can see the whole roof when you're coming down the hill. You see from that side, and then when you're coming up the hill, you see the other side, so it's pretty much the whole roof you see.
Mm,
Because right now you're looking at the front, in front, there is no roof. Roof is on the sides, so it continues from front to
Yeah.
the back.
Yes, that's, yeah. Yeah, at the front, that's the view, that's
Yeah,
the view
this is
that
the
you
view in the
see,
front.
the front. And right now, this is from the 2023. You had the power
The
wash and
stairs
bleach
are
the stairs and, you know,
cleaned.
everything is shaved. And
Grass
that's
is-
the look from the front. The only thing you see, I mean, this is like a top view. What you're talking about the roof, like from coming from the street,
Top
from
of
the
the-
hill.
Yeah.
From the left,
Yeah.
then you can see some of it. I mean, that's the view you're getting. Otherwise, the front, it's not like such an eyesore. This,
I mean, there is a little bit of missing,
fascia?
yeah, not fascia, but,
Trim.
aluminum,
Trim, correct,
trim on
trim.
it, yeah, so that, yeah. I mean, let's see what we can do about it, so that, you know, neighbors don't complain and stuff, I don't know. Maybe we can ask for a dormer in the back so we can do the staircase, maybe let's see if we can get it, resolved, quickly.
Yeah, but
Now, I understand that 20 is your, 20
Yes.
Cleveland is your,
It's the biggest project, yes.
and why I wanna do that, because I thought.
all three of them need to be done.
Yes, that's why I thought with the 20 Cleveland Terrace, once I'm gonna start doing something there, then across the street, I have 32 Low Street.
Yes,
Then once I'm gonna bring the construction crew, they can work on both together. That's why I don't wanna like start
Spread it
with,
out.
yes, because it
Yeah, but
will,
it's been this way since almost 2 years now, 3 years. It's been like this. So we can't wait any longer.
like I said,
We,
I've been with
there's
contact.
no
with
assessment,
Mr.
there's no
Law
liens
since
on this
last
property
year,
right now, and that's
over a year
not
ago.
fair to other people that are paying. So my suggestion is, on this property, 13 baby.
yes, sir.
I have an assessment here of $12,100, $250 per day, okay? We can sign that today. And we can, until you get the necessary permits. And work begins.
I don't understand.
So you're gonna get a $12,000 lien put on your property. Until you get the right permits. And the work begins. So we're gonna hold your money. Because if there's no recourse for us, if you guys just walk out of here today and like, you know. We just got away with another year of not having to do anything, because that's not gonna
I'm
happen
just
today.
trying to explain to you that the whole year, I said last time, that, yeah, I've been, like, it's not possible to do all three at once, and I don't know. Well, if we can,
Cleveland's gonna
we
take a
can
while
do
if
it.
you're trying
It's-
to
everything is
obtain
gonna
those two
take-
pieces of property. Because it has to go to council, it has to get voted on, it has to, how much are they gonna charge you for, it, if they're gonna charge you at all for
Okay,
it. It's not one of those things where he can just sign off on it and say, okay, I'm gonna sell you these two parcels of land.
okay,
That's not gonna happen.
Mhm.
So you're better off starting on one of these, finishing 32 low and working on this, then you're knocking out two blights right off the bat.
okay.
Because otherwise the fines keep accruing.
Mhm.
Yeah, but you know, like I said, we were not neglecting it. We addressed the issue with, you know, and clean the property and trying to maintain, you know, the best we can.
The
Whenever
grass.
we got a blind letter, every time it was like clean and address. I never neglected it.
But
The only thing is,
you're
you know,
not fixing the problems either. You're addressing a few of the issues that are listed,
mhm.
but you're not addressing the actual blight problem.
You wanna move on to 20 Cleveland?
Well, I wanna know.
Yeah, let's
Okay.
finish here, so.
I mean, we're gonna do them all anyway. but-
Sure.
Yeah,
Because even though the replacement of the roof is expensive, the accruing fines are also expensive, and that's not just
Because
going
it's
to
a
go
vacant
away.
house, it's $250 a day, because it's a vacant
Well,
house.
these are huge fines. I mean, like, look, I mean, we also have a life. We also have children. My son has a medical condition lifelong.
okay,
was
but that's- but
hospitalized
that's not
in the past 3
that's-
years.
okay, Kevin.
4 times.
But this is not.
No, this is the part, okay,
but this is not
Well,
the,
well,
this is our
everything
personal,
costs,
but it's,
everything costs the money. We have also life, we have other obligations. Houses, this is not the only thing that I have to worry about.
I
So
fully
I
understand.
wanna take a step at the time. I cannot spread and do all three at the same
I
time.
think
You're
what
not
we're
not
saying
possible.
is
You're
why
not doing
not
any
take,
of it.
and why not take this step first? If 20 Cleveland is taking a while,
Mhm.
then back burner that and, let
Okay.
that happen while you
Okay.
try to acquire that property from the city and do what
You
you
gotta
have to
do all three of
on
them anyway.
13
So
Bayview.
whether you're prioritizing,
Yes,
which,
yes, I
I
understand. I
none of them
thought-
are getting done.
I thought
So,
that because that was like the biggest eyesore, I thought let's start with that. And because they were close to each other, those two houses, I thought it will be a good to start it and have work, the crew working on both at the same time simultaneously. That's why I didn't do anything for the 13 babies.
see, the thing with 20 Cleveland is you can bring that up. Cause they're all tied in together. I have the email exchange between you and, Alan Lowe. So if you're gonna argue any type of fine, then that's where your argument's gonna be.
we're not
Is
here
that-
to argue, number.
No,
one,
no,
we're
no,
not here to
if
argue.
you wanted to negotiate a fine. That's where you're gonna get it from, is because this is a holdup for you. As far as what you wanna do with that property.
The,
Alan
trying to make it buildable with, 20 Cleveland. That thing holding us up with 20 Cleveland is Mr. Law and the process.
Mhm.
We want to do it, but we just can't until we get the permission to join it.
So this is
This
20.
is a knockdown, yeah, that's a demolition site that needs to be
It's-
taken down as
it's-
soon as
yeah,
we get the permission.
You need those two
We-
parcels in order to
Yes,
do what you wanna do
yes.
over there.
Correct.
To make it buildable even, because right now it's irregular in shape, you cannot build
I thought that
anything.
the joining of property will be a simple thing, but
It's not.
And we understand, the one step at a time approach, but unfortunately, the city can't give you guys a break just because you own 3
No,
properties.
we're not looking. for
And
free, I understand.
the ordinances are what they are and they're set and the amount of the fine, it may seem high, but that's
is.
the fine that exists in the city and none of us have any power to change that.
And we've also been very, lenient with the fines with you. Because you've responded to every letter
You always do.
and you've always kept in contact with me, so. But something needs to be done here. I can't keep answering the phone and wondering what's happening at 20 Cleveland, what's happening at 13 Bayview. Okay, 32 Low Street is not the main concern of mine right now, but
Okay,
these two are,
okay.
all right? So now that we're on 20 Cleveland. 20 Cleveland, the, I don't know which one is which here now.
Well, you find that, Steve, I'll also say, it also, sometimes it can be easier to take care of the smaller issue first. And looking at these two, it seems to me that there's less to be done to 13 Bayview. So why not just do that and get it over with and get it off your plate while simultaneously working with the city, doing what you need to do to combine the parcels, acquire the parcels. And then by the time you're done with 13 Bayview, you're owners of a larger lot at 20 Cleveland and you can go ahead and do that work there.
So I have, your letter to Alan Lowe. From May 19th, excuse me, I have a medical condition. That you're trying to buy parcels Y and Z.
yes. So no. The Y and Z, I think Y is this small little triangle that it's below and it's between the 20 and 18 Cleveland Terrace. On the back of it, it's a cliff of maybe
30
40,
feet.
maybe 30, 40 feet to Martin Luther King. It's not accessible to anybody. So it's a simple, small triangle. The other one, the Z, I believe, is sloping down. It's like a cliff, backing to 20 Cleveland Terrace, and the neighbor of Lowe's.
40.
Low Street.
44 Low Street, and I spoke with the neighbor because we heard from Mr. Hidaki that if we want to purchase those two things, the neighbor should, you know, be agreeable. So I spoke, he said, if you want, maybe talk to the neighbor.
Notified.
And, you know, if you get like a verbal, if he's okay with it, then we know, we can present it to Mr. Law that there's no objections from the neighbor.
And
The
the
only
city
neighbor is
will-
the city and the gentleman. So I spoke with him. I wanna say January, yeah, in January, I found him, tracked him down through his
From where?
tenants, and I found him, and I spoke with him, he said, absolutely, I have no problem. Have the city send me the letter, I'll sign it, I have no objections. So, it's all good, we're just waiting for Mr. Law
If
to.
you can get Mr. Lowe, Alan Lowe, to write me a letter or an email saying that you're in negotiations with
the city.
buying two parcels from the city to pursue a zoning permit,
Mhm.
that we may be able to hold off on fining until we get an answer. Okay, and then you have to make a decision after that. You either have to tear down the building and rebuild it the same exact way, which I know is not what your ideal.
It's not even possible now because of the zoning, the building is
Well, if-
basically on the sidewalk, and it's
Well,
not
if-
permissible
Well,
now.
now it's different. They changed the zone.
Yeah, I think if
In March.
if my supervisor marks it as an unsafe structure, you can rebuild the same exact.
Yeah, but I think, when my last conversation with Mr. Hidaki, he said that as of March, the regulations have changed. And he said the setbacks are now different, so it will be much better and easier to,
If we get those two properties, it'll be
Yes.
much easier to build on. I mean, that would be the ideal thing to
So,
get Alan Law to agree with it, and looks like the neighbor has no objections, that's the only neighbor besides the city. And, you know, we'll pay whatever the city, you know, seems, you know, agreeable, and we'll start on the project right away.
So, okay, you have to write the letter to Alan now
Now,
about,
Alan Law has to write a letter to
Oh.
Baruski, that
that you're in
we are in
negotiations and
negotiation
buying
with the
two
city.
parcels.
Negotiation with the city to buy two adjoining parcels from the city in order to pursue a zoning from.
So right now, there's a lien on 20 Cleveland for
Mhm.
5,900.
Mhm.
There's current fines there now of 7,000. So a combined total of 12,900 is what is currently owed on that property. Okay,
can you read that?
all right, so there's a lien already placed on the property for 5,900.
On which one? On
20
20?
20 Cleveland. And
There's a lien.
on that property, yes. And the current fines, which are reinstated, is 7,000.
Oh.
With digging.
For a total of 12,900. All right,
So,
That's 20, that's, you're talking about 20 Cleveland.
yes,
so you have 12,100 right now on 13 Bayview and 12,900 on
12,113 Bayview and 12,923.
Those are your current fines. Okay, now if we can get Alan to. We can at least pause that until we can find out what's going on there. Get more information on the parcels,
Okay.
whether they're attainable, not attainable. He needs to give you an answer at some point,
Well, we've been seriously over
but
a
you
year.
need to start
and-
putting pressure on him.
But I
Not,
mean,
you only
we
started
sending
putting,
emails.
I know, but you only-
We sending letters.
right, but you only started putting pressure on him once you got my letter. And you re-kicked it up with him. So first thing you should do is contact him and see if you can set up a meeting with him and,
It was not possible. He was not, he's working from home or something.
well, he was here today,
He
so.
was here today?
Yeah,
Could we set a meeting with you and him?
sure.
Maybe,
Mhm.
right? Okay.
Okay.
Who do we set it with? Can we set it with you? Can you ask him when he's available and we'll call you, or you feel free to tell us when?
When we sent initial letter to them back a year ago, we said that, well, this is in the process of, getting this to complying with the city, because there is an issue with the house that needs to be controlled. So we mentioned that. That we need, to, get the parcel, because we wanted to knock it down and rebuild it, but with the setbacks back then, it was different.
So yeah, the
So-
best thing would be to set up, if you could.
So
please
he knew
ask
that
him-
there was an issue with the blight.
Okay.
He knew that we wanted to comply with the
But
city.
maybe if we have a meeting with you and him,
Yeah.
maybe he'll feel the pressure from you that, you're on our
Or
case,
something
and then
needs to be
maybe.
done. I mean, we
Exactly,
can't,
so if you could help us in that way, we would greatly
I mean,
appreciate it.
it makes it look like the city's not doing anything, you're just sitting here. With our,
Okay. And we trying,
hands
real
between our-
seriously, we trying
underneath our
for
legs
over
here.
here, and it's not moving with Mr. Love,
Right.
so. If you
So,
could
I
ask
mean,
him when he's available,
We,
let us
we
know.
understand there's other circumstances, we're not here to try and,
Correct.
kill people in the wallet.
Correct,
We,
correct,
we want compliance is what we want.
okay,
So we're not getting either at this point. So we need to, I would start working on Bayview. Like ASAP,
Okay.
get
Okay.
that off the books. That's your biggest money grabber right now. 32 low, we can work a deal out with that. I mean, that's fine's not that much anyway. But if you get the necessary permits and you finish the work, we can eliminate that fine.
Yeah, I wanted to meet
So
with,
you got
I
32.
called last week, Mr. I don't know his last name, but, hold on, Leo,
Guerrero.
Ferrero, yes. So I wanna meet with him to get the building permit to start working on it.
32.
This is 32
32
Low
Low,
Street. This is the
yes.
third property.
Yeah, we just trimmed the hedges, the grass is being cut every
Yeah, just
week.
keep
We
the
have it-
landscape maintenance. So this is current right here. So most of the siding is done, huh?
Yes.
Yeah,
It's
yes,
just-
yes,
yeah,
yes,
it's
it's
just the
top.
part, it's just the part that needs, we need to talk to Mr. Leo Guerrero.
Yeah,
And other
So
than
there's
that,
not, yeah.
there is nothing, major on that house.
all right. So on 13 Bayview, we already talked
And the
about.
property is like trim and cut and,
We just had the hedges a couple weeks ago. They did
32
hedges,
Low
like,
Street.
They cut them nice and they cut the grass.
All right, so there's no liens or assessments on this property either. It was just opened anyway, 2025, no hearing results. So we didn't have a hearing on that property yet. Current status, siding unfinished, outdoor storage. A roofing material has been removed,
That was removed, yes.
so that's good. There's no liens on the property. Suggested assessment is 4,200, recurring at $150 a day until necessary permits are obtained and work begins. Okay,
So that's.
if you can do that within, if we can start work within 30 days, we can eliminate that 4,200.
Okay. Can we make it contingent upon Mr. Leo Guerrero?
Yeah, I can also speak with him. as well.
Okay.
He works in my office,
Okay.
so, if you get the permit, just give me a call or shoot me an email
Okay.
saying, or have Leo let me know if you got the necessary permits. And then we'll, as long as you could start work on that. I mean, you have the materials, no, or not? What was that stuff in the front?
Yeah,
Is that
it
roofing
was-
materials or
it
siding?
was
I
Shingles,
think
it
it
was
was
shingles,
left over
shingles.
from the shingles, the roof is done, it just the siding needs to be done
Right,
on the side, yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's not a whole lot to be done.
No, it's
Yeah,
not a lot, we have
just
to
the
find
top part.
probably the same.
Kind of color,
Cause
side.
you had, I guess you had taken an apartment away, or you had added apartment?
Yeah, we have, yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Right,
But we need to talk to him to make sure he's good with it. As long as he gives us okay,
okay,
we can start on
all right,
that.
and then we can eliminate that.
Yeah.
So,
So I guess this will be probably the easiest thing to start with.
so you can knock out two right with one, and then we'll talk to Alan about the two parcels and see what we can do about
Yeah,
expediting
if
that.
you could, if you know him
But
well,
the
if
30
you could
days,
ask him.
I feel like this is not, I do want it to address it right away.
And we want to meet
But
with Mr.
30 days, I mean, like, okay, if you could give us a 2 months, don't feel that I'm trying to postpone or anything. But by the time I'm gonna find a person, contractor, to do something, to get the material, I know how long it takes me to go and search and go places.
Well, you can at least get the permit within 30 days.
Yes, oh,
Yes,
definitely.
yes,
that's
yes,
what I-
yes,
I-
yes, absolutely.
Yeah, it's,
As long as
Yes,
you have the permit.
yes,
okay.
yes.
And then we'll keep an eye on when the work starts over
Mm.
Okay, so we'll get the permit and you said you can eliminate that, fine. What about the 13 day view? Can you please, if we, I don't know, do you think we'll,
I wanna, so. How much time do we have on that?
the main thing is the roof, right? That's the biggest issue,
there.
right?
Roof and what do you call it?
Pieces of this
The trim.
trim, right?
Trim, yeah, just
Okay.
the siding, trim.
Um,
Cause the house itself is.
Your house is fine, the
The
windows,
house
all
is
the
very
windows are in.
strong,
Yeah.
it's
House was built
beautiful,
very-
it's, there's
yeah.
no issue with the construction,
Right.
no issue with the house
And
whatsoever.
the
You could be
animals-
renting that out as well. you
Yeah,
know?
and
I
yes.
could, I just need to,
also, before I forget, you mentioned, and my neighbors mentioned that animals go into the house.
That's
We
just
walk,
birds.
we walked through it, often there is no raccoons, no dogs, nothing. This, the only thing is the neighbors to the right. We see that they put food and
For cats.
milk for cats, they put it underneath the porch, and we see the cats go in there, so maybe that's what they meant. Because there's no raccoons, no other
absolutely
animals.
no, because they don't have a way of getting into the house.
Yeah.
I mean, the house
So
is
it's just
closed.
underneath the front porch, underneath the steps, there is
And
one
we
side is
talked to
open,
those neighbors
not to leave
several
food
times.
there, but.
Not to leave, not to feed them, but they are still doing it. They're just bringing dishes and feeding the cats because they are wild cats.
Yeah, why don't they feed them on their own property?
Correct,
Exactly,
correct,
exactly,
correct.
exactly.
Oh, they put the food and milk on your property?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh.
underneath the
Yeah.
front doors, the doors that you
Yeah.
see in the picture, so they put it underneath the,
Yeah,
and it's
so the
like,
only, I mean, yes, birds are there, but the birds are on all the houses,
All of
not
the
only
houses.
at that house. Because that whole street and then going down to the intersection, if you drive, you could see those birds, they
Are
sit on
everywhere.
every house, yeah. There's like maybe 3 or 4 houses that they kind of like because of the way they rotate towards the sun. That's
whatever
the
they are
issue they,
thinking, I don't know what the birds are thinking, but they have. their
but
own-
I've seen them in, yeah,
On many houses.
yes.
So this is where we're at. We're gonna put a hold on 20 Cleveland until we have a meeting with Alan Mott.
Yes,
See how hard it is to obtain those
Sure.
two parcels.
and we're
Okay.
open to the meeting, whenever,
Right.
tell us the date
Okay.
and we'll be here.
32, you're gonna talk to
the
Leo,
permit.
you're gonna set up an appointment with Leo.
Absolutely,
You're
yes.
gonna get the
with-
necessary permits
Yes.
going
Within a
on
month.
that.
Yes.
Let me know when you have those.
Yes,
And then, I mean, you're asking for 60 days to start the work? I mean, you get the permit anytime. you want,
once I get the permit, yeah, then I
If you
can,
could do 60 would be great.
yeah.
Are you okay with that? Emma?
Yeah, it's fine with
Yeah,
me. Sounds
okay.
good to me.
All right, so grab the permit first,
Yes, and let
First
you know
step,
right away.
and
yes.
then work starts within 2 months
Mhm,
from today's date. If there's any hangups, you gotta let me know,
mhm.
okay? Because I'm just gonna assume that you're ignoring it.
No,
No,
we're
no,
not
absolutely
ignoring
not.
anything. I mean,
Yeah.
we're
No.
pursuing Mr. Law for over a year and his
So-
emails and letters and.
32, you're gonna meet with Leo.
Yeah.
20, we're gonna meet with Alan. And
13 baby.
13 Bayview, we're gonna bang that one out. Get that one done.
Meaning
Say
the,
it again?
We're gonna do that one first, right? Or 32 low. One of those two has to
32
get
low,
done.
32
start
low,
32
like-
low.
Yeah, because you have the materials already for that.
yes.
Yeah,
You just
let's
have to
start
have-
with
If you just give us a break on the 13 for now, I mean, maybe we'll do something to make it, I don't know, maybe.
We'll get the
they could-
permit first and then we'll talk about.
No, no, 13 baby, there's no permit needed, just the roof, on 20, on 32 low, would you gonna get the permit? And start work within 60 days, like we said, no
Right.
problem. But 13 baby, you said there is fines like $12,000. I mean, you would like us to improve the look of the roof so that people don't complain, right, and stuff. So maybe, I don't know. We ask the roofer like to maybe fix it somewhat, make it look, I don't know. What do you think?
You gotta figure something out. You, between the two of you, figure it out, but
I'll
you need the
speak,
permits
we'll,
first. Before we even talk about
Okay,
not,
and I will notify you, I will speak with you to keep you on what, you know, the progress. But let's start with the 32.
What if,
definitely, Mr.
what if
Beal.
we did, 30 days to come up with a plan? A concrete plan for how 13 Bayview is going to be fixed and a timeline.
I would agree to that, but we've been through this for 2 years now, 3 years. So it's. You know, every time we leave here, I feel really good about where we are and then,
Yeah,
you know, I drive around and nothing gets done and so. I
But
would
some
really
stuff-
like them to at least have the permit in hand
agree.
and that way. We know, I'm not saying that you're not serious about getting these houses fixed, but. At least we know they're taking steps in the right
Mhm.
direction. Like, if
Definitely.
they walk out of here and don't get a permit,
Right.
then, you know, it's gonna be another year before, you know.
No,
I agree they need the permit on 32 low, but on 13 Bayview, I think you said you don't need a permit, right?
no, there is no permit needed,
For
the
roof?
houses, no, for the roof, no, there is no permit needed, I mean, we would like to
You
do a
need a
change in the
permit.
back,
Need a permit
yeah.
for-
If you're completely redoing the roof, you need a permit.
So then let's start with that. Let's get permits for both 13 Bayview and 32 low.
Mhm.
I think that makes sense.
And then I'll set up a meeting with Alan Mall.
Okay,
And come up with a concrete plan, because it's gotta get done. It's not fair to neighbors, it's not fair to other residents. Does that sound good, Steve?
Yeah, I mean, it's also not fair to people that comply
Yeah,
within the timeframe that
That's
they're given, so. Are okay with that? For now?
Starting with the permits and then try
the
to,
two
yes.
permits and then. Yes,
And then we could talk about in 30 days or whenever we have our next hearing. We'll bring it back in, we'll find out where we're at, and
Mhm.
then we can start working on the fines.
Yeah, but we have additional complaints.
but my wife doesn't understand the fines, the thing is, if we. Get the permit on the 13.
We're gonna
sorry,
wipe 32 low out.
uh-huh,
If the work is done,
when we had the permit and we
And
going
we
like
finish
direction,
it.
and the same with,
4200.
13 baby, right?
no,
no,
there's gotta be some sort of fine. It can be negotiated. Just like 20 Cleveland can be negotiated because you have this,
Yeah, this is
you
obviously.
have all this stuff.
So,
Yes.
I don't understand, the fines you said there are like liens on that
You,
property?
you have a lien from,
Okay, but the Bayview, okay, you said there's a 12,000 something. Last time one, 12,100.
That's the fines, but there's no lien on the property yet.
Okay,
What Steve is talking about is that if you guys make concrete progress and get going, we can talk about what the amount of the lien will end up being. But the bottom line is that the fines are accruing every day.
So in other words, if you don't do anything in a year. And you just, I'm not saying that's what your plan is, I'm saying if.
Mhm.
Any citizen that walks in here that has a blight situation going on. If you walk out of here today and you just say, screw that, I'm not doing any of that. We have to have a lien or something on the property.
mhm.
Can all be negotiated, it can be taken off at any time,
Okay,
but we need some sort of reassurance that,
So, question, that I have is, once we start working on it and we show that we improve, and can these fines be waived?
can this be applied, let's say, to the
Right.
material, let's say, of the roof?
only if you can show a hardship, like you need the money. We can use the fine money to fix that.
I mean, because, look, you're gonna find us 12,000 on one property, 12,000 on
No, he
another
said
property.
he's not, it's 20, he's not,
but-
and he's not
And
doing.
there's a third one that, you know.
But again, I'm gonna say this one more time, nothing is being done. We have to hit you at some point, we gotta
I
hit you with
understand,
with a fine. I can't just keep
Correct.
going on like this
Okay.
and saying, okay, well,
like,
I'll get you next
last-
time, you know?
Last year when we talk about Bayview,
Right,
Okay,
I stepped in right into it.
and
Everything
done.
was done, and we, like I said, over $10,000, and we did the back wall and everything, and between everything of the front. The only thing out of your list
Was the
was
roof.
the roof line.
and the
Yes.
trim.
Yes, and the trim, because it's kind of part of the roof
But,
with
yeah,
the trim.
My point is, we're still getting complaints about the property,
Mhm.
so. I mean, I don't drive by it every day, so I can't,
Mhm.
I gotta go by what people are telling me, you know?
Mhm.
And when they complain, you know, I send these guys out, they take pictures and they come back and nothing's, you know, it's still the same.
Okay, can I ask a question? And I don't know, David, let's say, if we promise you, let's say, if we do the roof the way it is, okay?
Mhm.
And if we do changes in the back, we're gonna have to rip it and redo it, whatever it is.
Mhm.
Rather than pay the $12,000, you know, I mean, losing that money. If we, let's say, promise you we'll get the roof done, let's say in, I don't know, rip and do, I don't know, 2 months or something, would you be willing to give us a break on that thing? Like, put it towards the material, if let's say we say in 2 months, there will be new roof on it, we'll deal with the staircase later if we need permits.
Yeah,
Would
let's,
you be willing to take that off and we'll just do the roof?
we're not gonna take the whole thing off. We can negotiate,
So I'm
Yeah.
kind of negotiating.
right? Well, let's get the permits first,
Okay.
before we even get to the negotiation part.
Okay.
Let's get the permits, let's get some work done.
Okay.
Let's make sure that you're
Show
serious
you the
about
good
it.
faith and that we're doing it, absolutely.
And then we'll talk
Okay.
about,
All right.
we can talk with Emma, about the fines and what we think a fair amount should be.
Okay,
All right?
Does it have to be $12,000? Not necessarily, but it's gonna have to be something.
Yeah.
okay. I mean, I would love to use it rather, you know, towards material, than just. And this way, if we get it done, you know, you'll be happy, neighbors will be happy, birds will be happy, they'll be
Start-
sitting on a nice roof.
Start with the permits and start with
And
the
we'll
roof.
bring- we'll bring you in for the
And then
next
let's
year,
talk
and then
about the
we'll-
amount
then
of
we'll figure out
time.
what we're gonna
Okay,
do.
Because remember, it's still accruing.
But I mean, can we, stop it for
Let's
now?
do
the
Or-
work.
Let's, yeah, okay,
If you get the permit, I'll put a pause on it,
okay,
and then, but that's just a pause. Then we'll talk about it at the next hearing,
mhm,
but you have to
I'm
have
so
the,
sorry,
you have to have
Benjamin.
you have to have the permits before the next hearing. Otherwise, forget about it,
okay,
negotiations.
so.
So you get about a month to 6 weeks before the next hearing. So you have that.
Okay, who do we get the permit for
But
the,
we speak with Leo.
With Leo,
or
okay.
Guerrero,
Yes.
Yeah.
Guerrero.
okay,
And I can also inquire with them.
Mhm.
He's right in my office, so.
okay. And
Okay.
please let us know.
Yeah, I
when-
already called him, but he didn't respond, so I am gonna, see if he's here. And, because last time when we were here like a week ago,
He was not here. was
He
gone.
might be in there now.
Okay,
Leo?
so
Yeah.
we'll talk to him
and,
right
and
now.
I called and left a message with, at his office and, he didn't respond, so we're gonna
Let's
go
go
see
talk to him
him.
right now, yeah, absolutely.
And I'll reach out to Alan.
Okay,
Thank you so much.
thank
All
you.
right. Okay, kids.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks for coming in.
I forgot about that.
That's okay. Good luck
I'm
with
so
everything.
sorry.
You,
Okay.
you guys are all set.
You guys are good.
I'll send you guys a notice.
Thank you so
in a
much.
month or
Nice
so.
to meet you.
Take care.
Pleasure meeting you.
Nice to meet
Hey, no need to.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, sir. Thank you,
Thank you, sir.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Good luck.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, favorite customer, Sophie.
Have a
Have a
good-
good
Been doing
rest of
some
the
work,
day. Thank
huh?
you.
Well, yeah,
Matt,
I
here's
mean,
your phone.
I know
Oh,
I'm
thank
not like fast, like it takes me time to
I
do
got it.
things, but I'm,
You held up your end of
I'm
the
just-
bargain.
I'm
We
keeping-
gave you,
I'm
Little
moving
extra
in the
time
right,
on the,
I'm moving in the right direction and I intend to continue moving in the right direction.
yeah,
You-
it
you
looks
have
really
reads like
good.
Those are old, right?
So,
I mean, there's no everything's cleaned up
yeah, no, we're gonna take a look at all the pictures right now.
and I'm keeping it clean.
Yep.
In spite of the kids. Yes, they have a tendency to make a, I mean, I have some, I have a tough situation with these two boys. It's not easy. They don't seem to understand, what I mean, like, no. I mean, no matter how many times you explain something, it's like they, and especially the younger one, starts all these projects and leaves everything laying around, I mean, it's challenging.
Mhm.
I mean, they're not at an age where I have to sit there supervising every single thing they do.
Mhm.
All right, well, I had a little write-up for this one too. But anyway,
But I mean, I have
just,
I've got my own goals
Alright.
too with this, and, it's a lot more than anything that you put on paper.
okay, so we have, 2 East Rocks Road. Um, Give you a brief history of this. There are no liens and no assessments, no signed assessments. We do have an assessment of 6,300. That would have been signed today if she did not comply, which she did. Who went there this morning? You two?
I took pictures
this
morning, yes.
Alright, so you can see the difference. It's a big
Looks good,
difference.
yeah.
Alright, so I believe the minutes from the last hearing were if if she were to come in today and there were still issues on the property, then we would sign the assessment,
Mhm.
but I believe the minutes from the last hearing were if she came in and it was property was clean, that we would wipe it out because of her situation over there
Mhm.
with the ex-husband or soon to
Yeah,
be,
and
or-
I mean, well,
Yeah.
we were never married.
Oh, okay,
Mm.
We did,
But it
we
was
did,
all
we
his
did
stuff,
live
yeah.
together
Yeah.
before I moved to this house.
okay.
We actually lived in New Canaan and then I bought this property on pretty much, I mean, on my own. I don't even know how I finagled it because I was working a half-time. I had cut back my hours, so my salary was almost half what it had been. And, I was only able to get a mortgage for so much, so I had to take money out of my 401k to buy the house, but, I mean, the good side of that is that, that the house is mostly mine,
Yeah.
So, but anyhow, yeah, and it really I mean, it was one of those as is, purchases.
Mhm.
So like, you know, it wasn't like the most beautiful house on the block, you know what I mean? Or like, you know, the most like lands, you know what I mean? Not really, not professionally landscaped or anything, you know,
But it's yours.
but it's mine, right, you know, so, and, you know, I have to be honest, I like, you know, I kind of lean towards having a more natural environment versus like a heavily landscaped environment, because you know, like right now we have two birds that have nests and two different
Mhm.
types of birds and, you know,
Even
I
though
mean,
it's
I know,
right-
like,
Even though it's right along the road, it seems quiet.
well, I mean,
It's a busy.
don't get
road,
me
though.
wrong, like, there's like crazy people drive by with their you know, their stereos blaring sometimes. It's like, I
Yeah.
mean, and it is so close to the road, like sometimes it's shocking, you know, the level of noise. And then, you know, we have that project across the street, the ongoing masonry. I don't know what, I mean, it sounds like they're operating like a masonry construction type of thing, because I don't know if it's just relating to the house, but you know, they've got a lot going on there. And like, you know, when they first started, there was a lot of dust.
Quite a bit out.
I
So-
mean, you know, that's.
I
but
believe we're all in
I'm not
agreement that
complaining
this
about it.
is, we're gonna close this out.
Mhm.
However, just so you know, if blight exists within a year
Oh,
of
yeah,
today's date, it's just gonna be a citation. So you
Exactly.
start getting fined right away.
new fine.
A new fine, yeah,
Okay.
we don't, once we close the case out, we're
No, but
close this one.
I don't even, you know,
But you did a really good
I'm
job.
not like intending to
And I know-
go
I
that
know-
direction, like.
I know it wasn't easy for you to do that, what you did.
Well, it was a lot of work,
Yeah.
but there's still a lot of work. I
Yeah.
feel like, you know, I'm not done with
Yeah.
what I want to do, you know, there's like, you know. Stuff
And
the
it feels
kids
good
don't
to
use
have nice,
anymore, like,
clean
you know.
property, right?
Yeah, it's nice because, you know, I can actually walk to the backyard and like, without tripping over something. like,
Good.
Or some log that wasn't, you know, was left there. I mean, remember what it was? Like, I'm like trying to forget.
Yeah.
Well, like
We
just,
could show you
you
the
know,
pictures if
piles,
you want.
yeah, show me the picture.
I don't have them
Oh,
saved
that
on
is-
this.
You know,
ones?
I mean,
No,
it's-
no, nothing.
It's like, yeah,
But it
No,
looks really good.
yeah, and I'm, you know, I have some,
we're doing all
I
right.
have some new plants that I wanna like, yeah, yeah, well, oh, that doesn't look so good. I was like,
All right.
that's not from this morning.
No.
Yeah, so. Yeah, so.
All right, so I think you're free to go.
Okay, well, thank you.
Good job, Sophie.
Thank you so much.
Keep it up.
I mean, I really, you know, I mean, honestly, these processes are good. Sometimes, you know, you need a little push.
Well, that's, you know, they
I
wanna
mean,
negotiate down to
like,
nothing and they didn't
You
even do
know,
anything
it's
yet.
not that I don't wanna not do anything,
Wait a
but, you know,
minute.
you have to prioritize it if it's gonna get done. So,
Right,
like,
of course.
you know, like with everything else, you know, I've got like, you know, whatever, my hip, you know, and it's like, I started that process, like I'm having, you know, stuff done for my, you know, my teeth, because that's a prerequisite for getting any kind of surgery. So it's like, everything's a process, you just have to do what's next.
Mhm.
And one step at a time.
Unless you
Yeah.
own 3 properties.
True.
Then you better do
That's
them
like,
all.
I mean, after hearing that, like, gosh, I don't know how I would deal with anything like that, but it's like, you really, that's more like, you definitely have to have more of a plan and know what comes first and,
Mhm.
you know, like, and prioritize those things. I'm not interested in owning more property. Like,
Mhm.
I mean, unless it's like a piece of land somewhere, you know, no building on it. Anyway, all right, thank you all. Have a
Have
good
a nice
afternoon.
day.
You too, thanks.
Good luck.
Yes, thank you.
We have 2 other properties, this could be my fault that he's not. I've been kind of
Mulboy.
Moboy
Yeah.
and Ely.
Yeah.
They're pretty both cut and dry anyway, so there was no argument he could have made today that would have helped him anyway, so let's go to 3 Ely first.
So he's not here.
He's not here,
present.
but we'll just,
I don't have the 3 Ely.
you
That
don't
one
have
was
3
clear.
Ely? Okay, so 3 Ely, as far as Blight is concerned, he did what we asked him to do. on
Good.
that. Okay, so
Good.
that's off the books right
Mhm.
now. But again, I'll email him stating that if we get called back there within a year,
Yeah,
it's gonna go right to citations,
good.
okay? The fine's gonna start. Now, here's the other one, 5 Millbury.
Right. This
Okay,
one had a bunch of graffiti on it last
this
time,
said
right?
graffiti, yeah, but according to the minutes, and I don't know what Matt did with my minutes. According to the minutes, he was supposed to have that building demolished or intent to demolish, meaning that he needed a pre-demo or a demo permit. Um, which he did not
Mhm.
proceed. So right off the bat, he didn't do what he was supposed to do. He was also supposed, what was that other thing called?
Supposed to come in to talk to Bill.
About the
Yes,
pre-demo?
yeah.
And he never did. So. Like that. There's the other one. Come on in. We're talking about,
Still on.
Hey, Beth,
Hey,
how
there
are
she is.
ya?
How you doing, kid?
Good, nice to see you.
Always good to see you.
where's the other one?
That's all there was.
No, there isn't. So anyway, Gago was supposed to, come in for a demo permit. Can you show him the pictures, current pictures?
Yeah.
So the assessment would be 18,000 on this. He hasn't done it, he didn't do anything that
And talking.
he did fix EOE out. 3 EOE,
Right, but.
but
there's so
he's got
much-
people living in there.
There's so much illegal about what the guy's doing. It's not funny. This came, well, like, wherever this came from the mayor's office, like, what are we guys, what are we doing? Well,
And did he have notice of today?
He did.
Okay.
He's been
Even-
getting the notices, so.
Yeah, and even when we first did it, first time around, he never showed, remember? He thought it was all out of joke.
Yeah.
This isn't a.
They're not gonna find me.
No. See, our biggest key would be, you know, we just had a meeting with Matt Sapienza. It's regarding Ted Norton, because council's calling up the yin yang on that one. And I didn't have the answers, so we'll talk. You know, when that comes up. Because you were sick and, you know, and they have their, you know, I wanna really see what legally we could do, but we have to get it to the point of, I get the council person, has she been calling you?
There's been one council person.
Okay, I guess the call went to Matt. You should talk to Matt. I don't know all the details. But where are we with the failure to pay, et cetera, and get an assessment signed.
Right now, there's no lien on that property.
That's what we're saying, but is there
There
a
should
failure
be.
to pay?
Yeah,
Is it, okay, I couldn't
Yeah.
find it, 'cause I
I'll
don't know,
find it,
so Matt wanted to know all that, so talk to Matt. And then get an assessment, and then you had it down for, Gene Kimmel. Because that was his
well,
case.
she also has some sort of conflict.
Well, I said that, you had a conflict, that's why you couldn't take it, originally would have been on today's
Mhm.
Right,
agenda.
right.
But the conflict took you off and put Jean's back on, and Jean's been sick, I mean, the poor fellow can hardly, I mean,
Oh my
I
goodness.
feel so bad. When he walked in my office the other day, I felt sick. It's not him,
Mhm.
but anyway. That would be a Zoom. So. We'll just have to go through the process to get that going. And what the recent photos are. What's done, what's not done, any delays. Our biggest key is what can be seen from the road without going in around the building, this, that, and the other thing, because that doesn't count, except for breaking in. Because
Not
that's-
even the access road to the condos back there.
Well, if you could see it from the road, and I'm talking about if you have to pull into that side little street.
Yep.
With the parking lots that are blocked, that doesn't count. Because with Matt, the way it reads, it's public view, so. Unless they ever change it, that's the way it's gotta be, and you don't wanna have something that they would appeal that knocks you out of the blocks.
Mhm.
So that, as soon as this meeting's over, we're gonna set up with that. And, again, the notice we had a holiday sit in there, I think it was Labor Day, I forget now everything what took place, trying to get these meetings set up. Then we finally, I forget the gentleman now, to come to a meeting. And then the agreement was, the permits were coming out, I'm throwing dates out, this off the top of my head, it could be wrong. But by January 1st, we'll have permits and this whole thing is gonna be fixed and corrected.
Mhm.
And I think we set a meeting after January 2025. And there were no permits taken on yet, they were still been set into zoning, and I didn't know if it was bluff and persuasion, you know, if he's throwing that at us as a smokescreen. And then you were ill, so we had to cancel with your surgeries, and then a reoccurrence of the surgery, so that's everything that got delayed. And the key is that's $150 a day fine, right, is what his, because it's a repeat, so it's $150. Which is allowed by the statute, and if we just get it to a certain point,
Is it 250 because it's
Is it vacant?
vacant?
well, it is and it isn't when you think about it. Technically, is it vacant because they have a tenant with the contractor's yard? I mean.
It does
so that
the
came up
outside
once.
tenants.
Yeah,
count.
so. And then Metro North has some of that in the back along the tracks, and they're exempt because it's a
Mm.
state. Project, whatever you want to call it, and. There's been no movement, even though the applications are sitting here. What is the blight now? No, the photos I was able to look at. The blight was painted,
Yes, it was.
okay, and. The plywood's on the windows, but we ordered that to protect the building because the plywood off, they're throwing rocks through the windows, so. That's, you know. Our orders to keep the building safe so no one breaks in. And the last time you were there, was it,
When I was there, it was secure. It was about a
secure?
month ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when I drove through, it looks like the parking lot, the grass is going through, it looks like a mess, right?
Still.
And there's still brush along the
Right,
front
so
entrance.
that's, so all that there was items when we had our last meeting. That was gonna be cleaned up
Mhm.
and agreed upon. And it's still not done. So the fine, in my opinion. Would be. From the date we stopped it, I'm saying. September 1, because there was that grace period that they allowed to do it, and they didn't. So you should continue it. From the, whatever that date was in September. Or whatever the meeting was. To now. We get an assessment, we get Gene. And then we just turn it to the law department, and it's up to the hearing officer to agree or. You recuse yourself, so. To agree or disagree, and then. It's up to the courts to, I mean, he can appeal it in court, so that's, they don't have to appeal to us. But it keeps running,
Mhm.
and the court can tell them, no, it's not, or wherever they wanna settle this. Because if I remember correctly. Didn't another attorney call who was a friend of the owner who wondered why is this taking so long?
There was something about that, but we couldn't figure out what his connection was.
No, but he
Okay,
presented himself, and there's an attorney by that name, we looked it up from Wilton.
sure.
And he says, I'm friends with the owner, we're just trying to figure, he wanted to,
I reached out to the guy.
Yeah.
I got nothing back.
no, but I'm just saying, he reached out to us and we gave him what the information that nothing's happening over there, but. That was gonna make a result, and it hasn't, so. We're gonna do a Zoom meeting, so there's no reason that I can't make it that day, it's gonna be on the.
Mhm.
Like we do now. And, we'll get Gene. We can hold that right in my office, or, you know. Or set it, whatever you set up here,
Yeah.
and, do it from here, and just. Get that property. Where it should be. Institute the fines. Because even though we assess, we don't collect, so that's, it becomes a different, obligation to somebody in the law department or however they do it to elect.
Alright.
All right,
So we can close out Zoom. Um. Are we in agreement on 5 mobile?
Yeah, I mean, I think a fine certainly needs to be entered. He had notice of today's hearing. He
Yeah.
chose not to appear, and I think we need to get this resolved.
right, and he's been very poor on his responses to us.
Yeah,
So it's not like, oh, I just missed this one, I've been to all the others and blah, blah, blah.
yeah.
And, oh, gosh, I could,
Well, the fact of
the
the matter
demo
is,
contractor he called. I think he gave him a price, but nothing's been I mean, I don't think. Because I know when he gave me a name. Anyway,
you say you were gonna try and verify.
yeah, well, he went and looked at the job, and I'm going back from the last conversation, 2 or 3 months ago. Yeah, I gave him a price, but I haven't heard back, was the last. There was no,
Mm.
yeah, you got the job, so
He was also supposed to come in and see you about a permit
never,
demolition.
and he can't take it out. It's gotta be a contractor, there's a whole
So
law
at
for
least he could have
demolition.
done was get the ball rolling and come see you and say,
He would have to come in with the demolition contractor. Both parties have to sign that application by me witnessing it, the owner and the contractor. And haven't heard from either one. Not even a phone call.
all right, so right now I have an assessment of 18,000.
Okay,
Let's enter it.
Let's enter that. Let's do the 2 for Cleveland and Bayview, or Cleveland and Bayview.
We're entering those or we're waiting?
I say let's get them on because it takes forever to get them on.
The only thing is, I'm not sure that was made clear to them when they were here. I wasn't clear about that. I would be fine with it, except that I think we would have had to be clearer with them when they were here. The way we presented it to them was more like, okay, you need to get the
Well,
permits and you need to
Yeah,
start the
well,
work. then
their
we'll talk
problem was
about
they
it.
were trying to negotiate down without doing any work.
I know, but I still don't think,
They didn't want to pay anything.
They don't want
right,
to pay nothing.
and they're gonna have to pay something, but I don't think we made it clear to them that we were entering liens today, so I think it would be better at the next hearing to talk to them, see what, if anything, has been done, and then make it clear that we need to get something
Okay,
entered, but I do think since they came and they were here, we would have just had to be really clear with them about that.
I don't know what. The notice of hearing is. But do we have in that notice that you could recur a lien on your, that they're
If you
being
don't come.
notified you're not coming?
They did come though, these guys,
Oh.
Bayview and Cleveland. We talked to them for a while,
Yeah.
like 45 minutes.
Okay,
I just say, let's see what happens
all
at the
right, so
next
let's get the
hearing.
18,000 on.
Yeah,
We'll do a Zoom with,
Ted Norton, I wanna get that like as soon as we possibly
and
can.
then there's only one other property, that's abandoned. 14 Park Hill, there, I want to get notice to the bank. Or anybody that's a lien holder, RSB Bank. There's also a law office on here. They're giving up, once they don't. The executor. Claims she was just for medical purposes only, not to
Right, legal.
run the property.
was that the one we had last time?
Yeah.
No, that was a
We
different
haven't had
one.
this yet.
Okay,
So. They should do what you gotta do. So. There's an auction coming up. We can put it on there.
my only problem, I don't think that one was on my list, was it?
It's not.
14 Park.
So I can't sign it because I haven't run a conflicts check. I would
Oh,
need to
okay.
make sure that
Yeah,
my
no problem.
office hasn't represented
Been
them.
2 costs.
Yeah, kind of threw that one on.
When we did the original, not interrupting, who did we do it with? Gene, or is this? Was there a hearing at all? Park Hill.
14 Park Hill would be Gene, yeah.
Well, maybe since he did it,
Yeah,
we
We
could
could just have
just
him.
that'd be good when you.
let
do
him
kind
write,
of-
I mean, no, I don't mean,
No, not at all. Not at
All
all.
right, I think that wraps up everything
how
here.
about Bow Street?
That's the one we had last time.
Yeah, that's Matt. He's got
I
it.
mean, it's all up there.
Yeah, he's got.
Okay, no, I just,
He's got everything.
so just,
Yep.
I would, when you speak, he wants to talk to you when we.
20 something thousand.
Yeah, he wants to talk to you, and this is when you're set here with everything, and they talk about the 10 Norton, and we're gonna schedule that ASAP. And it should be like, I'm off next week.
I could do 10 Norton right now.
Pardon?
I could do 10 Norton right now. Get it ready.
So we're good with this meeting?
Yeah,
Okay.
so I guess we can call this meeting.
Oh, I'm sorry. I
Adjourned.
interrupted.
Interrupt.
Well,
Does anybody have anything else? No? Okay. So we're just gonna